And why is reparenting important? What is it? What is reparenting? Well, let me tell you, in the easiest ways to describe without getting into the mumbo jumbo up at all, reparenting is about giving yourself what you didn't receive as a child. And the thing is that, emotional intelligence as a topic, as an idea, did not become a thing until 1990. So, what that means is that for most of us, our parents were ill equipped. They had no means. It wasn't in their awareness to address some things like emotional intelligence when they were raising their children. All of that to say that you diving into reparenting yourself doesn't mean you're accusing your parents of anything, right? There's no need to get to the blame game when it comes to watching where you are now and strategizing how you're going to move forward. It's really just about how do you want your life to be in the future and what kind of experience do you want to have? And that has very little to do with the way it was before with your parents. So I want to throw that out there as just permission to explore, the topic in itself, because I know a lot of people who are very in tune with the need to reparent themselves, and I also know that it's the type of topic in the wellness industry that kind of has a little bit of stigma to it because of guilt. And what do you know? Guilt coming out of nowhere is part of that, reparenting aspect that needs to be taken care of. And the reason why I'm bringing this to the collective is because as highly sensitive people, we grew up in an environment where we really couldn't be ourselves. You're too loud. You're too obnoxious. You're too different. Where did you come from? So on and so forth. Those are some of the phrases I grew up listening to, right? And so what that creates is a disconnect between who I really am on the inside and who I need to be in order to get acceptance. A huge disconnect there. That sounds like a complete imbalance of energy, right? Talk about Libra season and connecting all those dots together. And when I am not myself and I grow up with the awareness or with the dynamic of having to be someone else or do something else in order to gain acceptance and love, that translates as the adult who people pleases, or the adult who is constantly seeking validation from others in order to achieve or to create or to do anything. But maybe you're just texting a friend. Oh, what do you think about this? You may be sending your friend a picture of an outfit and saying, what do you think about this outfit for the party that we have in the office coming up? So are you constantly doing some of these things? This may be a red flag in terms of your inner child needing that healing, needing that reparenting, permission to wear whatever you want. It's really about having the confidence to be yourself. Permission to cry if you need to release, permission to take a moment and be quiet if silence is what you need, without having someone constantly nagging you like, what happened? What's going on? What's wrong? What did I do wrong? Why are you moody? And it's like, I'm not. I just need a moment. Knowing what you need. That's another thing that comes with reparenting. Being able to target, label, and address your needs. Because some of us didn't have our needs met when we were children. And I'm talking about emotional needs. I'm not talking about a roof over our heads and food on the table, so on and so forth. I'm talking about emotional intelligence here. That's what that has to do, what reparenting has to do with. And another disconnect with reparenting yourself that I see is, oh, I don't need to do that because I don't have any children. or I don't need to reparent myself because I'm not planning on having any children. And so I get it, because a huge factor in us trying to work hard at reparenting ourselves definitely has to do with providing a better experience for our child. But at the same time, I want to reparent myself just to have a good life all by myself, for me. I want to be able to name my needs and address them. I want to be able to walk into a room and be myself. I want to be able to have an authentic experience. Me teaching my child all of these things is just a byproduct because I already have a child. But if you don't have children, reparenting still applies to you, because it's about you and the experience you want to have. So, what is that? Think about that this week. Think about how many times in a week do you reach out to someone with a question seeking validation? What do y'all think of this? What do y'all think of that? I posted it on Instagram this morning. If what you're doing is aligned with your values, that's step number 1. If you look at what you're doing and you're happy with it, pleased with it, proud of it, that's all you need. Put it out there. Do what you're going to do with it. And when it comes to couples, I feel like there's a double-edged sword there, because even though my husband supports me, I'm still seeking validation for him, as someone who has survived this and this and that. It's like, I don't want to need that validation. I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and already know that my outfit is cute. And if he doesn't point it out, then I want to be able to be okay and not seek that validation. Oh, you didn't tell me I look pretty today. What? So if you're listening and you're married, how many times do you do this? And men do this too. I know very well that men do this too. What do you think about my outfit? How does this look? What do you think about this new hat? Right? And so it's about, if you were alone in the world, can you meet your emotional needs all by yourself? Not love, I get it. Not company, I understand. I'm talking about, the need to just be, the space to just be. Can you be all by yourself? All by yourself. Or do you get antsy for company and someone else listening and someone else relating to you? And so some of these things are really attached to our childhood wounds, I should say, right? This is a very important topic to bring awareness to kind of remove the veil from people's eyes so that they can just seek what they need, ask for what they want, demand respect. And I feel like reparenting yourself is a huge aspect of this. This is all mingled together. It's all one big umbrella of wellness and mental health and happiness and authentic expression. It's like all one big umbrella of hashtag living your best life. That's what this is. And so the aspect of not being or growing up in a home where emotional intelligence was a thing is that when you become an adult, you have no emotional intelligence. Well, that should be your first indication that you need to relearn some things or learn them to begin with, right? Well, that's the reparenting. If you're spending your time trying to learn something because you feel a disconnect between what you grew up believing and now you're just, I think I'm just going to dive a little deeper into this because what I learned doesn't really resonate, but now I want to learn about it. You're reparenting yourself. So that's great. That's great that you're doing it. Ooh, here's another one. Oh my gosh, we're not done. Yay, I remembered. Curiosity is huge in the reparenting topic. And I'm going to tell you why. And if you have children, this might strike a nerve, but I want to tell you it's okay. It's never too late to rectify some of the patterns that you may already have as a parent. But listen carefully. When it comes to wellness and when it comes to getting coached, you're going to hear a lot of people on social media telling you to get curious, telling you to ask questions, right? However, when children are about 4 or 5 or 6 or maybe well into teenage years, they ask a lot of questions. How long till we get there? Why is this happening? But why is it like that? But why can't I go? Where did I come from? Whatever questions. What's for dinner? Is dinner ready? When are we leaving? Where are we going? So many questions, right? And when a parent finds it not inappropriate, what's the word? Inconvenient, to answer those questions, one right after the other, right after the other, right after the other, which I get it. It can be annoying. I understand. But essentially, when you tell your child to stop asking questions, you're telling your child they shouldn't be asking questions. They may internalize it that way to the point that they never ask another question again. And so the child that learns that asking questions elicits an unpleasant reaction from someone they love and look up to transforms or grows into the adult who never asks questions, who never gets curious. The adult that the concept of curiosity just escapes them. Well, in order to rectify your experience and really live your best life, you need to get curious about what resonates and what doesn't. And this reaction to this one thing, what does it say about my experience right now? That's another question. And this person coming into my, conversation, making me feel a certain way, what does that mean to me? This fear that I feel about creating this content or putting this out there or making this phone call, who hates making phone calls? I completely get it, right? This fear that I feel, what is it telling me that I need to work on? But we may not feel like it's okay to ask questions, and we may not even realize that we feel a certain way about asking questions. Well, that's a reparenting thing. Permission to get curious, permission to ask questions, permission to do whatever it takes for you to be able to do what you want to do. I know that's confusing, but you may listen to it again. In fact, I'll repeat it. Permission to do whatever it takes for you to be able to do what you want to do. What do you want to do? It's your life. You're the adult now, right?